2 weeks away?
July 10th.
July 10th, today is what, 22nd? So we don't have too much time, but this is the time to remember, reflect, meditate, and pray for strength and energy and enthusiasm to follow Chalamas and get so much mercy. And, you know, if you go to India, you'll be with Premananda, and he's doing bhajans every day, reminding, and showing us our great good fortune. So many kirtans go in the ear and they stay in the heart, and we can meditate on that great good fortune that we met Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada. They invited us to Vrindavan, and we met so many other Vaishnavas there. They gave us their hug and their mercy. They welcomed us. Then they gave us 2 types of nourishment: Mahaprashadam, Harikatha, Harinam, like this. So now we should try to remember these things. Remember what Gurudev is coming. Hariro, welcome. What Gurudev is teaching. Gurudev would always tell us that there are 4 core verses that we should remember to help us in our bhakti path. You know? Remember them, Sean? 1, Chanada Pisani, Chanata Hora Pisahishana, Manira Maninena, Kirtaniya Sadaha. How we have to pray to the holy name, supplicate the holy name in a mood of great distress with humility in our heart, and pray that, you know, I'm so weak, I'm so fallen, and I have no taste. I'm actually an apavadi to your name. So please forgive me, and please accept me, and please help me grow. So in this way, during this Chatumas upcoming, we should start meditating on these things and be ready. You know, remember the glorification of the different kirtans of Harinam, Harinam Tu, and so many others that can help us supplicate the holy name. Is non-different from his Nam and Nami simultaneously, and he's also Harikatha simultaneously. And in this way, we can take advantage of this very, very important time in our year. Because during Chatumas, so many other beautiful things are happening. Janmashtami, so many other beautiful things. We go to Vrindavan, and we have Shayana Akadashi, and then this whole auspicious movement comes in Chatumas. So, and especially in Kartik Vrat, Vajrashwari Vrat, Vajravat. So now we should try. All these sadhus have come. And now I heard that Vadai Maharaj is coming and Prem Prabhu is coming, so we should prepare our heart to be open to them. So please come with your darshan, please enter my heart, please destroy my anarthas. I was listening to Gurudev on what is it, Facebook or something, but he was saying Trinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. And then after I heard that, I heard Srila Maharaj in Mexico say the same verse. You know, he's saying, Srinvata, Swakata, Krishna, Punya, Shravana, Kirtana. He was saying basically that there's 60, we always hear, or we heard, or we thought there were 64 angas of bhakti. But there's actually 63 are not angas, they're the angi. Right? So, but he said the anga is this first verse that, you know, Shravana, Kirtana, Shravana. By hearing Srinvata Swakatam Krishna, then if we just completely hear everything, then the Lord in the heart, he'll come in our heart through the ear channel and completely kick out everything that's not, you know, relevant. Kick it out all the numbers. So our main duty is to try to hear Harikatha and try to remember what we've heard. You know, so important for all of us. So I'm very excited to remember some of these things and think about them. So we heard that Gurudev gave 1 core verse out of 4. So Chanada Pisani Chana. What's the next one? Remember?
Krishna Bhakti Rasa
No, 4 core verses. Huh? Anyabilasi Shunya Janakanavanavita Anukulena Krishna Nushuranam Bhakti Uttama. This is so important because there are so many different definitions of bhakti. We've heard Narada Muni explain one. Tavo Pat, the other, I can't remember. Tatparam, I can't remember. Anyway, this verse, but the topmost, the emperor of all definitions, is this one verse that Gurudev asked us to remember, composed by Srila Rupa Goswami. And so we have to internalize all these teachings and try to make them make them part of us, you know. And so that's very, very important to understand that the main thing about bhakti is that we're anukula and Krishna no shivanam bhakti uttama. We're giving up anything that's adverse to, you know, serving the Lord. We're giving up all those things. And we're praying that we can always remember that our whole point is to give Krishna pleasure. Shivanam bhakti uttama. This is the topmost thing. So Gurudev taught us this. And the next one, Tatenu kampam shukshumi shamana bhujana evatma kritam vibhakom vibhava purvira vidadana namaste jiveti yamuti padaya sadaya bhakti. Remember?
A person who tolerates all eventualities while offering obeisances to the Lord in the core of their heart, they immediately become eligible to achieve a liberation. And I think there's something else I forget.
In this case, liberation means pause bhakti. But yes, because we're always being challenged, we're always being scrutinized. The Lord is always putting something before us, either our own karma file or any test that might come. We have to, you know, be tolerant. Yesterday in the garden, somebody pulled up all the butternut squash vines. Pretty much killed the plant. And I was just praying in the morning, please manifest a beautiful garden here so we can serve you. And somebody probably just thought maybe it was a mistake. They thought it was just overgrown. But as soon as they disrupted it, the whole plant wilted. And so myself, I was thinking, okay, today's Ekadashi. Can't be mad. I can't let my anger take over. So I'm thinking the same thing. Tatein, kampam, you know, be tolerant. And I had a very successful Ekadashi because I didn't allow my mind to zing out and get angry and blame someone like that. And so all of us, we're going to have our challenges. And so we have to take these core verses and remember, you know, should I punch this guy? No, I should not do that. I should just be tolerant and understand Krishna is sending this to test me to see what I will do. What's he going to do now? What's he going to do? And at that moment, you say, oh, Krishna, I surrender to you. Please help me. Ha Gurudev, Ha Sri Rup Sanatana. Please help me. So we have to, this is part of our life now. Every moment, you were just saying about, you know, Sharanagati. Every moment of our life, we have to surrender. Something's going to happen. Some tests will come. Someone will cut us off on the highway and you want to take an egg and throw it at the car. But now we're trying to become Vaishnavas, so this is not good for us to allow our anger and our mind to take over like that. So I'm thinking of all these things, you know. So Tateinu kampam shukshimi shamana bhujana evatma. Then the fourth one, Vacho Vega Manasakro Vega. So that was the test yesterday. It'll probably be the test later on today if I step on a rock or trip on some kid's toy out in the backyard at night. You know, so all these things that we need to help us become Vaishnavas. Pray to them, you know. Tabakada. When will that day be mine? Kabi Habi Bolo say Dinamor. When will I actually become a Vaishnava? Oh Harinam, I'm an offender to you. The Javadharma says the worst offense in all the things in the whole world is to be a Namaparati. And here I am, Lord, I'm here with you. You are Nam and Namano. Please excuse me. Please accept me. Please forgive me. Please manifest in my heart and tongue. Come with taste. You know, after 50 years, you would think that, okay, I'm actually a Vaishnava. But I heard this one katha that when we sent me from your Gurudev, we were speaking about Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Bhakti Rasak Srila Sridhar Maharaj. One Western devotee came from very, very far to meet him. And he was resting at the time. So the servant told him, oh, you wait. So when Maharaj finished his nap, he told him, some devotee came from very far to see you. So he said, okay, give me my disguise. And he put on tefillin. I thought that was so funny because for me, it is so true. He's thinking that it's his disguise, but really for me, it isn't my disguise. I'm not any of these things, but I want to be. So, Srila Maharaj said also that one can be known just by his aspiration. So we're actually aspiring to become pure Vaishnavas, pure servants, but actually even more concentrated than that, we're asking to be part of our Guru Gan of Saki Manjaris of Srimati Bhakti. And that is such a tall thing, so far away from us. But we hear like from Baba, what is it? Katamamita Baba? No, right, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. And then also from Radharasa Sudani, how we're being actually trained to be part of that family. What do they do? How do they serve Radhika? All of them, they take their instruction from Radhika just by her glance. She never speaks, she hardly gives any orders like, oh, you go make a garland, you get this, you get that. No, she's just, and they understand. So we're praying that in the future we could be enrolled in that school and also be trained up in that way. So Vacha Begam, Manasikoda Begam, oh thank you. Jiva Begam, Udara Pasta Begam, Tan Begam, Yogi Shahita Dira, Sabnamati Mam, This is probably the hardest thing for any of us to do because it seems like we have to do it. I have to control my mind, I have to control my urge to speak, my anger, some of the things. And it's very hard, but if we hear Hari Katha attentively, then that also is covered. Krishna will take care of us or enter the heart and it'll help us in that way. How? Because he's non-different from Harinam, he's non-different from Hari Katha, and he's externally the same person. So we pray to him. We don't really have to pray hard. All we have to do is hear the Qatar from the speakers as they speak, because they're like fully powerful, fully manifested. They're completely engulfed in Swarup Shakti. By hearing their powerful Hari Katha, it says, Jito Yutaisya Lokya, that Krishna himself, Gyane Parasam Udapasamanta Eva Jivanti Samatadikam Bhavadiya Vartam Stane Stitam Shutikitam Tanavam No Vir E Prayasho Jita Vitais Asitais Shalokya. That the Lord, who is completely unconquerable, he can conquer everything. He becomes conquered by any devotee who surrenders to Hari Katha. Haribo, welcome. So, we have to pray that we can become like that. How can we become attracted to those who speak Hari Katha? In the Bhagavatam first canto is given one clue. Second chapter it says, Shushushro Shvadananasya Vasudeva Katharuchi San Snan Mahatsaraya Vikra Punyam. Can't remember. It's really terrible. We get old and can't remember anything. Verses, but I still remember where it is and how important it is to us. By serving the Mahatmas, actually Srila Maharaj said that in the first canto when Shukadeva Goswami, he came into the assembly and Parikshit Maharaj was saying that basically as soon as you think of any Mahatma, any great soul, he says you get so much purification, your house is purified, just by remembering, thinking of what the speakers that you serve them, give them a glass of water and offer them a seed, and take care of them, feed them, massage them, like this. So, Mahatma Sevaya, this person is saying like this. Narottam Das Thakur, he's speaking, he's saying, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nastara Payachikeva. That no one can become free from the onslaught of this world unless and until they lovingly serve Vaishnavas. Narottam Das is saying that. And then Kapila Dev is saying, Satam Prasangam Amaviya Samavil. This very beautiful verse about the glories of Hari Katha. But there's one really secret code in that verse. Satam Prasangam. To have love and affection for the speaker we can hear from him, and then we'll make that connection. His words that enter our heart and completely change us. Completely. So important. So I have nothing more than what I'm trying to remember that I could share to help everyone. Like I said, Chalamas is coming up. I think the Daimars is coming, what, 2 weeks?
7th to the 9th.
The 9th? And
7th
then 7th to 2 days.
7, 8, 9.
Oh, 3 days. And Frame is coming when? You don't know?
He's not coming.
Is that coming?
No, not this year.
He was just in Miami, he didn't come here.
Oh, somebody told me this morning that he was coming.
No.
I think Roy Christian told me that, so. Sorry.
But there is a Simone Rush SB Hari Peru that I think is going to
Was he here before?
He-
Was he here last year?
I think so.
From
I think
Australia?
he was here. No, he's from India.
Australia.
He said he's going to be in Florida, actually.
Yeah, he wouldn't say that he was coming out. So I
They're
don't know.
so.
We'll see.
But anyway, but he speaks very nice Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
And then Svanti Maharaj, maybe
Siddharthi Maharaj?
Me?
the 10th, Guru Purnima.
Oh.
Maybe. Or it's just
Guru Purnima?
Guru Purnima.
Oh, Guru Purnima coming up. Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
The 10th of
I
July.
think he's just trying to say no without saying.
So anyway, like I'm saying, that we should try to be grateful because we've received a human birth, and some of us, we grew up in New York City, born and raised there, and we know how much advancement we've received from being a basketball player to now going to Vrindavan and meeting so many sadhus and hearing and chanting with them. And so, like Maharaj said, Krishna Maharaj was saying that this Koti Jamma Smriti, that it's so important for us. This is His mercy. He's given us a birth as a human, in a human body, and then He's given us remembrance of all your mistakes for the last Koti. But how many, what's a Koti? 100 verse, right? Last 100 verse? 1 million verse? Koti Jamma. I thought he said 100. So that means that He's given us remembrance of the last 1,000 verse that He took. Can you imagine each human being that gets that? You get a human birth and then He reminds you. But then most people forget when they come out the birth canal. Somehow or another we made a promise that this time I'll promise I will serve you. And He helped us fulfill that desire by letting us hear Harinam and tasting Prashadam and being with devotees. So now that He's given us this such a great gift, and then He's given us pure Vaishnava association. Bharati Maharaj, Rai Maharaj, Prabhupada, so many have come, so many are still coming. You said in a few days another Vaishnava will be here. So we have to really strive to remember to be grateful. Remember how to be grateful. And to honor those personalities because they are actually associates of the Lord and they have the Shakti to deliver us. It's like we just heard in Kirtan said that each one of the servants of Mahaprabhu has the power to deliver an entire universe. Right? We just read this same scripture. So we have to be very, very extremely grateful right now. Whatever's going on in our life, whatever challenges we're going through, that is only there for us to cry out and serve. We have to cry out. Maharaj was saying when we were in, I think we were in Eugene, Oregon, and he was saying that everything is possible by the blessings of Vaishnavas. Everything is possible. Because I asked him one time, I said, Maharaj, Preacher Maharaj, he received a pair of shoes that he could travel with the speed of mind. And I said, I also want a pair of shoes like that. That way I could go to Vrindavan every morning and then come back. And he was laughing. So I said, how can I get that? So he said that through bhakti there's nothing unattainable. Nothing unattainable. Anything is possible by bhakti, and anything is possible by the blessings, ashtivad of the Vaishnavas. So when Gurudev was telling us, don't be hopeless, don't be weak, and Maharaj is telling, you have to pray to the Vaishnavas, supplicate the Vaishnavas, remember the Vaishnavas, remember their names. Just by remembering their names, so much great good fortune comes to you. So we pray to all Mahaprabhu's associates, Rupa, Sanatana, and so many others, and all those who trained us from the time we were young to now, some of them have disappeared, but still we can remember, oh, Kabidai, thank you, oh, Registrar, thank you so much, etc. Like this, and try to remember those who helped us, because they're very special. Even the parents that we were born to, very special, because somehow or another they gave birth to children who eventually became Vaishnavas. We have to give honor to them, even if they've disappeared now. We should try to remember them and thank them, chant Hare Krishna. You have a flame in the morning, tell them to come and take the flame, because this way the ancestors that help you and your family, they're also getting purified. Krishna is so merciful. As soon as you make the attempt to want to serve him, he's already making plans to liberate everyone connected in your family line, forward and back. This is his great mercy. You know? Mahaprabhu, he was dancing in the Veda Kirtans, and somehow or another, because of his potency, he manifested in 7 kirtan parties dancing simultaneously. And only a few internal devotees were able to see that. One of them was King Prataparuja. Maharaj was always asking the Lord for his darshan, and Mahaprabhu was showing the example of a sannyasi not to mix with such people, kings who are into money, coins, and so many material desires. But he was just showing that as an example. But King Prataparuja, because he was under the shelter of his 2 Shiksha Gurus, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Ramananda Roy, then they gave a plan how you can get Mahaprabhu's mercy. Oh, after he finished dancing, he's going to go to one courtyard, very beautiful place, flower growing. Don't wear your kingly garb, wear something very simple, and you recite the Gopi Geet to him. And Mahaprabhu was hearing this as it entered his ears, became so ecstatic. So, because the Shiksha Gurus, those devotees gave him blessing, then now he had the darshan of the Lord. He was able to massage the Lord and do some kind of seva. And the Lord embellished it. So in the same way, whichever personalities avail themselves that are in our God and the servants of the Mahaprabhu, servants of the Lord, we should go to them and supplicate them. Even Raghunath Das Goswami and Manashiksha, he's saying the same thing. We should appeal to the generals of Mahaprabhu and pray for their causes mercy. So when Gurudev says, don't be hopeless, don't be weak, it means that we should pray to Vaishnavas to help us. Even in the Bhagavatam, Maharaj Prataparuja, the Pandavas, we can pray to them for strength, to persevere in our sojourn here as trying to become Vaishnavas. These are some of the things I was remembering over the week that was with different Vaishnavas. I like to share something because I'm praying. This book is Gurudev's Slokamrita, and the back is a very nice prayer in here by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's 12 different verses. Swaswad Dasakam. This we used to sing it with Premananda, Yeah. So I want to read. I'll just read the Bengali, and then I'll let you, Sham, read the translation because I can't see it. Sachi Sunamajna Prahana Chaturo Yoga Javane Param Rajam Varam Bhajati Taram Krishna Rasikam Ahamita Padamita Duntinam Naistikamana Vayayam Vaipapita Tirasi Chamuda Sanati Rupa. Very small prayer. But it's like a prayer, and it's also a determination, like you take a vow. So this is like a vow. So read what he says. This is a vow.
There is a class of pure devotee who is expert in following all the instructions of Sri Sachinandana. Such a devotee incessantly worships Srimati Radharani exclusively, who is indeed the most worshipable personality, and who is deeply absorbed every day in relishing the divine mellows of Sri Krishna's association. pure devotee of this caliber definitely performs his confidential worship wholeheartedly and with exclusive surrender unto Sri Radhika. Always living in Sri Braj Mandal, I shall take the nectarian water that has washed the lotus feet of such a devotee and carry it on my head. Drinking it with great joy and with a devout heart, I will then happily offer my full prostrations upon the ground in the nicest, most perfect way that I possibly can. This will indeed be my routine each and every day.
Yes, so when these personalities, they come into our life, and we have to offer the most nicest prostrated obeisances and thank, our providence that we were able to meet such Vaishnavas. And this Radharasa Sudanidi, I think 73, is Bhuta Kala Gati Pramena Balina He Daivam Tubhyam Namah Bhuta Kala Gati Pramena Balina. I worship this very powerful time where Mahaprabhu has come and the dust of Srimati Radharani's foot dust is available more so than any other time. Even Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, they were not able to access this, but because of the advent of Mahaprabhu, now we can understand the glory of Srimati Radharani. But it also applies to when we meet any Vaishnava that helped us, whether he's our Bhagwan Padaksha Guru, the person who introduced us to Krishna consciousness, gave us a book, gave us Mahaprasada, then that's a very powerful and special time when you met someone who helped you come to the service of Krishna. And so that time that we met him, this is Bhuta Kala Gati Pramena Balina. It's a very powerful, special time. It's providence itself. I'm offering my obeisance to Providence for allowing me to hear about Krishna and meet personalities who are training me. Vacho Begum, Manasakroda Begum, Trinada Pisanichana, all these personalities have helped me. I'm offering my obeisance to that time. It's like Michael Jackson said, remember the time. So we remember the time when I met a Vaishnava who really gave me love and affection to help me in so many ways. So this Bhuta Kala Gati Pramena Balina He Daiva Tubhyam Namah. We offer our obeisances to anyone that can help us. Anyone who's come in our life, and we had the darshan of any Vaishnava, Mahaprabhu's servant, Nityananda's servants, Gadadhar's servants, all these great personalities. They have come. Through my ears, I've heard their glories. And so now I'm offering this Daiva Tubhyam Namah, this powerful time, this providential time. I'm offering my obeisances to this time. The time when 2005 I met Premananda. And from that time, my whole Bhajan life really took off because of his love and affection. Then I met this Vaishnava, and he helped me in this way. And this one taught me how to make a very special dish for Radharani, for my Gurudev. And this one allowed me to serve Gurudev and give him a massage, very secretly. Or when I met Srila Bhakti Baba Puri Maharaj, Vishnu Maharaj allowed me to touch his feet. And I bent down and kissed his feet, and it was more soft than the skin of my daughter when she was a baby. It was so wonderful. And I still remember those times when we meet Vaishnavas. We should always remember them and thank them for allowing us to have their darshan. Like Gurudev sings this song, Hari Bhakto Ke Darshan. It's a very important time in our existence to come. And so we should always be grateful. And even those who are with us that are helping us cut vegetables and help us serve in so many ways, give donations, and help us on plane rides and everything, to meet a Vaishnava and hear Harikatha from this one to that one, and help us get to India to go on Parikram and touch the dust of all these places. We should remember them. And then we should try to please them by trying to follow. Whatever they've given us, they'll be so happy that they see us and we're growing and we're growing. So when I first came to devotional service, I met a devotee named Mahanidi Swami, who was actually a sannyasi there. And he had another friend, I can't remember his associate's name, but they came and told us about the glories of Ekadashi, how important Ekadashi was. And we followed the Kadashi, but I didn't really know the glories of the Kadashi, what it was, what it is, how important it is, how it's Swarup Shakti herself, Srimati Radhika Bhakti Devi. Didn't know all those things, but now, after meeting, I met Temple President of Atlanta, and we used to, every weekend, whenever there was an Akadashi, we would come in the temple room and stay up all night, do kirtan, do Tulsi Puja, Guru Puja, read special books, and stay up all night until Mangalarti, and I thought that was amazing. But then I met Sri Ram Maharaj, Bhakti Sri Ram Maharaj, and he's telling me, oh yes, the last 7 years I have done this vrat. I've done this vrat. I heard it from Padma Purana, and now I'm following, and it's like this. You should do like this. You should do like that. Stay up all night, and we've done it. Now, last night he was in, where was he? Guatemala, and he stayed up all night doing kirtan on the harmonium, on the drums, keeping everyone fired up. And we have no idea how these things help us, how they help us with these things, that just their vision. By them looking at you, bhakti comes in the heart. Gurudev would tell that the Guru is nourishing you in one of three ways, and you can take this example from nature. He said, when a fish gives birth, then by its glance, it's nourishing those offspring, just by the glance. And the turtle, it comes from the ocean onto the beach, and it lays the eggs, and then it goes back into the ocean, and by meditating on those eggs, they hatch, and that parent is actually nourishing its offspring just by meditating on it. And then some birds, they sit on the egg that they've hatched, until it hatches, and by the warmth and the proximity being on the egg, it gives nourishment to their offspring. Gurudev said, so in the same way, when you get the vision, the glance of a Vaishnava, he's nourishing you. When he touches you, you get, so much nourishment from that. And when he's meditating on you, and we think, well, why would Gurudev meditate on me? Oh, because he's given you a part of himself. He's given you, in your heart, he's given himself in the form of Guru Mantra. And so now he's giving his love and affection to you especially. And so in this way, yes, Gurudev is meditating on his disciples, he's touching his disciples, he's given his glance, and he's given his Harikatha to nourish and help us grow in our sojourn in Bhakti. And he's praying for our success. But we have so many good things right now. Bhuta Kala Gati Kramena Bhavana. This is a very important, this is one of our most important verses, taking birth in the human life, just after Mahaprabhu has just come through. Just 500 years ago, the foot dust, the sprinkles is still here. His Astivad is here. He sent so many people to help us, and we have to take advantage of it. We should not neglect their instructions, the love and affection that they have for us. And the more you follow, more and more love and realization will come. And we should not neglect this time. Therefore, Prabodhananda is singing this verse that I'm offering my obeisances to this time factor. This moment that I met a Vaishnava, and I heard about the glories of Mahaprabhu. I heard about the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. I've heard about the mercy of Advaita Acharya and his funny interactions with Lord Nityananda. They're actually non-different, but when they come here, they have so much rasa. So we can meditate on this and know that our destination is also like that. Like one of these verses, Maharaj is speaking that Radhika Tat, then it says, Saki Jana Parihasa Mahotsava. That Radharani is so expert in helping her Sakis have a festival of laughter and enjoyment. So when we met Maharaj, he's the same way. He's also always making jokes, always so joyful, making us laugh, making us feel like, yes, this is bhakti, I want to be part of this. And it's not like a rigid thing. It's like the love and affections of devotees, so merciful to us. It makes you want to surrender. It makes you want to serve them nicely. It makes you want to, befriend them. And this is the great mercy of Mahaprabhu himself. When I was talking about Prataparuja Maharaj in the Veda Kirtan parties, he was able to have the darshan of Mahaprabhu and all seven kirtan parties simultaneously. Most people didn't get that darshan, but he got it. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy, Rupa Goswami, they were able to see Mahaprabhu dancing simultaneously in seven parties. Maharaj Bhakti Guru just said, I Deka Chaitanya Kripa Mahabhava. Just see how great is the mercy of Mahaprabhu. And we should apply this in our life. Just see how great is the mercy of Mahaprabhu that he sent Srila Prabhupada to the west, Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Maharaj to the west. There's so many that have come since that time. We should be very, very grateful. And those who didn't come to the west went to them, like Bhakti Srila Maharaj. The whole west came to him, sat at his feet. He gave so much of his mercy, and then it came back. A lot of his lectures were made into books, just so that we can have that availability of this instruction. So my whole point today is to share that how we should become grateful, remember where we've come from. We were born in families mostly not devotees, and they fed us things that nourish us, but they weren't really Mahaprasadam at the time. And from that point of being somebody bound to go to a hellish region, by the interception of Mahaprabhu and his instructions and his warriors, his generals, now we're on another path to go. So we should be very, very grateful for this time. Anyone have a question, comment? Yes?
So, back in the beginning when you started talking, you mentioned something that I'm curious about. Let me just make sure I get it. It's two things. And I know that different Vaishnavas may have an angle of vision.
Right.
And
Christy
they may
Cone.
have scriptural backup, or
Yes.
reference or not. So I'm asking, because I was always thinking that I remember hearing that in the womb, and pardon me for this question because I know what you're doing. In the womb, we are praying.
Yes.
When we become conscious to a certain extent.
When
not
you are
the
born in a
beginning,
human birth,
but
yes.
we're praying to get out of this situation that's becoming intolerable.
Right.
But it might not be that every human is praying like that. I don't know any scriptural reference for who's praying, who's not praying, or, what advancement do you have to be in that place where in the womb you are praying? Have you heard anything or anything?
Well, last week when we were at Hari Priya's house, Maharaj brought that topic up, and he said, when you're in a human birth and you're in the womb of your mother, it's so hot, it's stuffy in there, you're stuck in one place, you can't move, and that's when your consciousness is awakened to you, and you can start to pray. And when you're praying for that, he also shows you the last, he says 1,000.
100.
I thought it was
said
100.
100. I
Huh?
thought that that's what Maharaj
It said, because it said Janma Koti. Koti Janma.
Crore.
Huh?
Koti is a crore, Shata is 1,000.
Okay. So
So
what's
what's
a
a
core?
Or crores,
10 million.
It's
10
a
million.
lot.
10 million births? Wow. Anyway, I remember being in my mother's womb.
You do?
And it came back to me when I was in the Darwin. I had a very high fever. And in my fever, I remembered I heard my mother's heartbeat. And then I heard her crying. And I woke up and I said, wow. And I actually had darshan of that very moment I was in my mother's womb. I heard her heartbeat, I heard her voice. And I was in the Darwin when I remembered that. So I remember. So when Maharaj said that last week at Hari Priya's, it just, bam, it made me think, wow, like these things actually did happen to us. They are happening to us. And we do have a chance to become the servants of Radha Krishna and Mahaprabhu. What's the second question?
Okay, so the second one is, you said that that Super Soul reminds us of what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And So I was wondering, I think you said that he reminds us after we're born, like, how does he remind us? Like, if I'm not having darshan because of my fallen state, how should I realize that he's reminding me?
He's reminding you from the Harikatha that you're hearing, from the Upadeshamrita, from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and from all of the symbol Vaishnavas giving us instruction. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. And also reminding, I think I was 20 and I was in Hartford, and I read the 6th canto about Vishwarup, how he was murdered by Indra because he was chanting the mantras for the demigods, but he was also, because on his mother's side they were the Maniac family, and he was also doing Ashtivar to help them also. And when Indra realized it, he chopped his head off. Then Indra immediately, Sin personified, came to chase them all over. And then right after that is the Narayan Kavacha. And I remember going through the Srimad Bhagavatam with the Ashman cup, saying the verse, the mantra, put it here, doing the whole Narayan Kavacha. And then I fell asleep, and I remember the Lord told me, very good, Sahadev, and I woke up.
Wow.
And sometimes at night, I pray to Paramatma, okay, please wake me up at 10 o'clock. Or make me wake up at 2 o'clock, mostly 2 o'clock. But sometimes if I'm tired or I did something else, it would wake me up at 10 o'clock. So this one night, I asked the Lord, please make me wake up at 2 o'clock without an alarm clock. And then I heard, Sahadev!
Wow.
It happens. It's really true. These things are really true. And the more we chant, then the more different coverings in our life, covering us over from our forgetfulness of who we really are, they start to dissipate, and little glances of one little piece of sunlight comes through there, and you start to see things, or remember past lives, or remember, like I said, being in my mother's womb. I remember so many things, and when I hear the Harikatha, it makes me remember other things, just like when Bhakti Vichar was saying, Koti Janma Smriti. It just woke something up in me that day. Was that last Saturday? Yeah, how you going?
Monday.
Monday?
Saturday or Monday, that's when he was there.
Monday.
Monday. When did he leave?
Tuesday.
No, he took Tuesday to have some treatments and he left Wednesday morning. Like you came from, we had class Saturday morning, but that was a lot of children, a lot of families.
Oh, I didn't come to
And
it.
then Monday night, there was a lot of like prophet disciples. all
Okay,
over.
so that's when he said, Janma Koti Smriti. And it just really, I have not forgotten what he said that day. It just really gelled with me. And I know that's the blessings from the Vaishnavas, from my Guru Dev. So yes, these things are real. Anyone else with a question?
Not a question, but just going back to her comment on her first one. You were asking for, it's written in Bhagavatam, and Bhakti Vichar Vishnu Maharaj mentioned that it's in Bhagavatam, and it's here 331.9 if you want to read it yourself.
331.9.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it
And
purport?
No, this is translation. And then it says Janma Shato Bhavanam Smaram. So here it translates as last 100, but you can look up Sata, and it also means hundreds and thousands. So it just means a lot.
Janma, say it again, Janma what?
Janma Shata.
Oh, Satta.
Shata.
Oh, okay. So, but I thought he said Koti.
I mean, Koti Shata. If
Yeah,
you say
but see,
Shata,
there it
it's a
says
lot.
Shatta. Well, Shatta I can understand, but Koti I was thinking, oh, this is,
It's a crore,
yeah, it's a lot.
Wouldn't that mess the psyche to know 100,000 words?
So Prabhupada told us one time that if you remember all your births, you would go crazy.
Oh my God.
It does say here, if the child is fortunate, he can remember all the troubles of his past 100 births. And he grieves wretchedly. What is the possibility of peace of mind in that condition?
That's the part that my Gurudev was talking about. When my Gurudev made a comment on this verse that she was mentioning, he was saying that only really elevated Vaishnavas actually have this experience. That they
ability.
remember their past births and that they're conscious of being present in the womb and they're praying to Krishna. Only elevated Vaishnavas have that experience.
Well, there you go.
Well, there
I'm
you
not,
go.
I'm not elevated, so that's.
How
that's
does you
makes sense.
remember it?
Yes.
Also, Bhakti Sri Maharaj told me that when the jiva is in the womb, it is only listening.
Yes.
And after the jiva is born, it's going to be close to 20 years again until they'll be able to listen to Harkatha. And so he said it's very good for pregnant women to come to Kirtan and Harkatha because that's an opportunity for the jiva to grow in bhakti, and then after they're just going to be flitting for a long time.
Unless they're beautiful souls like Balaram and Arjuna.
Nice.
This
See
is
that? Some takes 20 years to start listening to
This is
Arjuna.
the importance of, Vaishnava community, show how to manifest, Vaishnava children to attract them to the womb in the whole process. Like I said earlier, that we're offering obeisances to this very powerful and sacred time where we've been exposed to Krishna Bhakti. Bhuta, Kala, Gati, Pramena, Brahmana, Hey Daiva. Daiva means like providence. Tubhyam Nama, I'm offering my obeisances to providence, this very time factor that allowed me to come in touch with this auspiciousness, great auspiciousness. I'm very, very fortunate. Anything else?
Do you have any questions?
John? Lou? Question? You have a question?
Yes, actually I do.
Yeah.
Today, I was looking on the Facebook groups,
Yeah.
and there seems to be a lot of varied interests from various personalities who have come in contact with Krishna consciousness, and they all see it in a different way.
Yeah.
Some emphasize, accepting everyone and not being too many rules and regulations. Some want to accept other groups of people. And so I was wondering, because to me, they're presenting valid arguments, but how are those varied groups going to progress in Krishna consciousness if they don't get beyond their own personal interests?
Good question. I used to go to Chinatown, and there's one shop that sold herbs and a nice fruit stand just across from there. Then next door was a fish market, and they always had a basket of crabs. And I would actually look at it. It was pretty amazing. One crab would always make it all the way to the brim of the bucket, and somebody would snatch it and pull him back down.
Another crab.
Yeah.
Why?
Out of envy. Where you going, buddy? What do you think you are? You think you're better than us? Get down here. You're gonna have to suffer with us.
Every time I make an inch, some crab comes reaching out to pinch and pull me back down.
Therefore, it's so true. Therefore, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nastala Pariyati Keva. No one can become free from the barrel of crabs unless you serve the Vaishnavas. Now, you should tell that to the crabs. Now, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Except where, at least for myself, I'm worse than the crowd because my mind is pulling myself down. As soon as I'm meditating on the glories of the Lord, fear comes in, and all my plans will be disrupted in my mind and distract me and take me somewhere else.
Yeah, but you have the panacea though. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Manasa Shishya says, my dear mind, oh, you're my best friend. So what I want you to do now is always meditate on your mantras that the Gurudev has given you, and worship the Brahmins, and all these things he's telling you. So he's asking his mind, oh, my dear brother. Not like confrontational, but oh, you're like my family member. you go with me everywhere, so you're like my bosom friend. Now I want you to now meditate on Satchidananda Gauda Hari, his associates, his holy name, the mantras you received from your guru, worship all the Brahmins, like this. So this is the medicine.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sripad Bhakti Vishnu Maharaj, he had mentioned how the mind continues to go on into the next birth, and so wherever your mind is, it'll continue to follow the impressions and everything. Can you speak on that?
Well, he was saying basically that the mind remembers every single birth you've taken, but then in our process, by the chanting of the holy name, by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, that mind is called the subtle body, and it can be dissolved by the grace of the holy name, and then your actual spiritual body with your spiritual mind will manifest. But what he's talking about is the material mind. I was thinking about that when he was speaking it. Then I remembered, yes, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that the chitta is actually dissolved through the mercy of the holy name, and then your real spiritual body manifests, then that mind, the material mind, is no longer there.
Does that mean our plans materially will shift into the next?
Your plan's already shifted. You know, when I met you, you were in LA, right? You met her, you guys got married. Right? You chanting Hare Krishna, you lived in Badger, you lived in LA, then you showed up here. Your plans already changed. Because you want to follow the auspicious path. The holy name, Mahaprasad, the community here has grabbed you, and now you can't go back off there. You have to serve, you know, do Vaishnava Seva. Even if you wanted to leave your job, she's not going to let you do that. She's not going to let you go away from the devotees. Like a few months ago, or maybe it was last winter, you had a beautiful ceremony of the anniversary of their marriage. Right? So your mind is you've already been stolen away by the bhakti path. This is great good fortune. Therefore, Bhuta Kala Vati Kramena Bhagapalana. Hey Diva, I'm offering my obeisances to this auspicious time when I met a person who was born from Vaishnava family, and I married her. They live in LA, we lived in LA, then we went to Badger, and now we're here in Alachua. Now we have another Vaishnava family. I'm offering my obeisances to this auspicious time.
Yay.
He's laughing. Oh, you got some good up here, huh? Very good.
Shamani Didi said it should be really, like, put a bunch on. I didn't have enough on when I was in Miami. She said you should be able to see it from far away.
Yeah. Also, I was just hearing a Katam from the Ramayana where it says when the woman has a child in the womb and she splits her hair like in two braids, then this part here, it has a special Shakti that goes into the womb and nourishes the child, that he'll be attracted to the scriptures. So, everything that we're doing now is based on hearing with faith. You know? Question? No? Question, Mom? How you doing?
Good.
Good.
It's good to know that.
Did you hear that? How'd it
Yeah.
go? Anyone else have a question?
Well, I don't have a question, but I guess I like the question he asked, and I want to kind of continue it or think about it. And so when he first said about our minds, like the mind that we have right now will lead us into our next birth based on our mind's desires.
Based on what you remember at the time of death?
Yeah. And then, but our mind has been with us for lifetimes. So like, for example, I know, you know, in like spiritual development, I could say like, oh, because my mother did X, Y, and Z, that's why I think this way. But actually the deeper understanding is actually my mind has been the way it is for lifetimes.
Right.
And that I took birth of a family member who has similar mental maybe impressions or challenges, and then now I have them, and so that means as I heal them, my understanding is as I heal maybe like dysfunctional mental understandings, then the next lifetime I won't have them, and that's my understanding. And I remember
it's kind of sort of true, but if
kind
you
of sort
say
of true,
if I heal them,
or if
then
they're
you're
healed by
the
the Vaishnav's
right,
mercy.
that's different.
Thank
Well,
you
if you
for
say if
pointing
I
that
heal
point.
them, then I'm the doer.
Yes.
But if I allow myself to be in a loving, nurturing, community of Vaishnavas, and their Harikatha, they're remembering, they're reminding me, then I'm actually being healed by that association. This is what we're here for. We're here to heal. Yes?
Okay, related to that, like in common devotee conversations, sometimes you'll hear the phrase like, it's just your karma, you'll just have to suffer that, it's just your karma.
Mhm.
But then I thought, if we're on this path and we say that there's all these like chanting breaks your karma or changes your karma, then I thought, just in my own speculation, isn't it our dharma to overcome our karmas somewhat? Rather than just, I'm just suffering, I'm suffering?
If you go to a kirtan in Mangalarti, Nitaigo, Haribo, you clap 3 times, you change the lines, you change your whole future. Yeah, so Bhakti is so powerful. You had a question?
Can I, can I just address something? You said that the karma changes somewhat, and it does, because the Vaishnavas have said it does. And we may not be able to perceive it. There are certain things we cannot stop, like our karma is the body we have.
That's
As long as
Parabda
you're
karma.
alive, you cannot really be in another body. You can improve it, but you're in that body now, and that's from your karma. So there's things that won't change. You know, you're gonna have to kind of suffer through certain things, but even the enjoyment and the suffering becomes change. We may not be able to know what we have experienced if it wasn't for our, involvement with Bhakti, but that's true, because they said it.
Gurudev was just talking about this recently, actually, and he was saying that when you chant Namavas one time, then your prabdha karma is dissolved. We have that understanding. But but our body, like we said, our body is made of prabdha karma,
Right.
and so that part stays because we can't continue our sadhana if we don't have a body, right? So, with Namavas one time, the prabdha karma is finished. The other thing I wanted
Pretty
to
much. Yeah, because you're still in the body.
But the body, it's more like, it's like that analogy of the burned rope. The shape is still
Right.
there, the body's still there, but it's actually in
Now you're in a
Like
different
the fan.
destination.
the fan.
Just like we heard from Srila Bhakti again, Bharati Maharaj, that one of his godbrothers, well, actually not his godbrother, but a Prabhupada disciple, he was told by an astrologer, him and his friend, that you're going to get married, at such and such a time. And then later on, by meeting Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Saranta, he became a sannyasi. And he was very hesitant to take sannyas because he was thinking, that astrologer said, I'm going to get married, so if I take sannyas now, I'm going to really blow it. But when he explained that to Srila Bhakti Saranta, he says, no, by you following my order, everything becomes more auspicious. So later on, he met that same astrologer 15 years later or so. And he told him, you told me I was going to get married, but look, sannyasi. So he said, impossible. Then he said, let me see your hand again. And he said, all the lines have changed. So we have to understand our great good fortune. Yeah, yours says you'll be broke for 3 births.
How many now?
Yes.
So what I'm gathering is that until you're disillusioned with the path that you're taking, until you meet somebody who can present another path, then you can't really change your destiny. But when you meet somebody who has a higher conception, then you can start to chalk a new path forward.
Listen.
So,
I'm tied up right now. My legs are tied, my hands are tied. Can I free myself? No. Only a person who's liberated can free you. This is Vaishnava time. The Vaishnavas, they come, they give us Harikatha and their mercy and their loving affection. When you meet Vaishnavas, they have so much love and affection for you, you think, I feel so loved and special. I want to follow this person. Mahaprabhu did the same thing. Everywhere he went, he gave praying. Everyone chanted the holy name. Even the lions and tigers and bears, oh my. They also heard the holy name. and they surpass their animalistic tendencies. You know? So this is Mahaprabhu's mercy. We have to have complete faith that he will help us in all circumstances. And when Gurudev told us, I will help you, when I first met him in San Diego, I will help you. Really, later on, I saw Gurudev in 2010 at the Giridhari Gopinath, Gaudiya, Giridhari Gopinath, I was thinking Kirtan. But yeah, Giridhari Gaudiya. And he came outside and he saw Bhakti Vichar Vishnu Maharaj, Bhakti Niskinchan Tilak Maharaj, and Bhakti, my mind is going blank. What's your Guru's name? Bhakti Swarup Sridhar Maharaj. And they glorified him and said, you know, your preaching is so glorious, you're very successful, you preached all over the world. And then Gurudev said that now my legs are old, but you have young legs. He was pointing to Sridhar Maharaj. You have young legs. I want that you go to the West and help my disciples. I was there at that time. Then later on, Gurudev went to Jagannath Puri Maharaj, met him there, and he again gave the same instruction. So we have to understand that just as Mahaprabhu has made a plan to help us get rescued by sending so many servants to help us, our gurus are also doing the same thing. They're making arrangements for all of us to meet great auspiciousness to grow in our body. We should never think we're alone. Like Gurudev would say that I'm more close to you in the air you breathe. Don't be hopeless, don't be weak. Sridhar Maharaj said, this means that you have to supplicate the Vaishnavas. Call them. You know, call their names. Oh, hey Haridas Thakur, hey Rupa, hey Sanatana. You know, there was one disciple of associate of Mahaprabhu named Sharanga Thakur, and he was very, very qualified, but he had no disciples. And Mahaprabhu chastised him. Why are you not helping? You're not helping anyone. So Mahaprabhu told him, tomorrow you need to initiate someone. But he agreed. And the first person he saw was a dead corpse going down the Ganges. And he gave his diction. And that person awoken and became a powerful Vaishnava. I forgot his name now. You remember that? Remember his name? Yes, Saranga Thakur. So just as that person in the Ganges, that body was floating and then became alive by Diksha. Diksha also for us is the awakening of our spiritual relationships. First Guru Gayatri, then Gauranga Gayatri, and Radha Krishna. So we have to remember these things and take full advantage of it. Try to remember our honor and stay regulated and chant the holy name. Here, do it ajay, which means to do self-study. Also here, Harikatha, anytime there's any excuse for anyone's coming. Did you hear that Bhakti Bozo Maharaj is coming in town? We should go there and Harikatha. Whoever it is, if we can get something, we should.
Did you say Bhakta Bozo?
Saying you can get, even from Bhakta Bozo, you can
Is
get
he
some knowledge.
coming?
Is he a regular?
Oh, I did not know. Okay.
Let me get a class next Sunday.
We got some inspiration to share that.
So like I said, Maharaj inspired me so much. I've heard so much good talk from him, but his explanations have been completely mind-blowing. And a lot of the verses, they keep coming back and back and back. Every morning, every night, I'm sleeping and wake up, I remember. Anytime we remember Gurudev or the Vaishnavas, then we should thank them for coming into our remembrance. Swagatam, 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 like this. Please come, thank you so much for coming, welcoming you, Suswagatam. Because the interaction and the remembrance of Vaishnavas is all real. You heard the story of, what's the person who was very, what's his name? Harishchandra? Harishchandra. He was very truthful, and he was tested by one great Vaishnava, came to him in a dream and said, now I want you to donate all your land to me. Then the next morning, he actually saw that Vaishnava come to his kingdom. And he said, what are you talking about? You can't give me anything. Everything you have to give me, you already gave me last night. So you have nothing. You have no treasury. You have nothing, you know. So in the same way, when we remember the Vaishnavas, it's actually a real transaction. It's not like a dream that's like fictitious. When you meet Vaishnavas and you remember Vaishnavas, they're actually there in your consciousness. They're actually there. You should be very respectful and thank them for coming. Thank them for letting me remember your katha or your kindness towards me, anything, any astivad. And LA Gurudev gave blessings to 4 of us for our birthdays. And it was so amazing. Everyone had a different experience, but we were all like high relations, you know, it's just like amazing, gave us all this blessings. We need this. We need it. We have to pray for it every day. Every day. There should be not one day when we should not, we should not supplicate the Vaishnavas. You know? Just like in the kirtan we read earlier, Vaishnava Vandana. Hearing of their mercy, I have come with great eagerness. Right? This verse, this kirtan. I have heard that the Vaishnavas have so much Shakti they can deliver an entire universe. But out of my pride and ego, I think that I'm serving them. But still, they're so kind to me, they've given me Harinam full of great pastimes. We should remember the Vaishnavas, especially our Guru Varga. They're so powerful. They're all servants of Srimati Radharani. And this is a very true fact. There's not one person and now Guru Varga that's not a Dasya Radharani. Not one.
That's not a what?
Dasya. Paya Dasya Radharani. See? Harinam Mahotsava. Right on his shirt. This is our whole life. Easter Gosti is our whole life. To hear and chant, to discuss, remember, remind one another. This is all we have. And so even if a devotee is not, following to the best of his ability, we should not kick them away. We should always be kind to them, give them prasadam, remind them, hey, remember that time we were doing this, or Gurudev said this? Remind each other, be friends. We have to be friends with the Vaishnavas. If we're not friends with the Vaishnavas, then one day we'll wake up in a club. A bar, a club.
Disco club?
If we don't have Vaishnava association, our minds will take us somewhere else. Right? Have to be very careful. You ever went to a club, boy?
Never.
75% of your life has been wasted. No, actually, we have to learn how to appreciate one another and accept the choices that other devotees have made, because everyone has different proclivities, different conceptions. You were talking about the Facebook group. Everyone has a different angle of vision. But then we have to reconcile what they're thinking with what our Guru Varga is saying, and then come to some kind of reconciliation. Because some people are saying that, yes, we accept the Ridviks. Yes, we accept them because a lot of those people were our friends in the very beginning of our lives. They got a little bit sidetracked. But we can't accept what they're saying. That Prabhupada is the only one that could initiate me. But where is he now? I can't see him. Because Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying that the spiritual master manifests himself to the conditioned soul. Right? So Prabhupada, yes, he can come right now to help us, but we have no capacity to understand that. We can't digest it. So we pray. It says, by the mercy of these two lords, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, one gets the association of the two types of Mahabharats. What are the two types of Mahabharats?
Book Bhagavad and person Bhagavad.
Yes. So by the mercy of these two lords, if we're praying for Guru or any guide or spiritual master or a friend to help us, then by their mercy it'll come. But then Prabhupada says, Nashrupriyeshu Abhajeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, says this verse, and he says, both are good. The book Bhagavad is good, person Bhagavad is good. But we need the person Bhagavad to instruct us, pull our ear and correct us and show us the proper path. So when someone's saying that Prabhupada is our guru for the next 10,000 years, how possible? He's our guru as Shiksha Guru, but you need a Diksha Guru to actually give you the mantra that where you can come into this line. You just heard that about Diksha. You heard about Surendra Thakur. He gave Diksha to a corpse and became a live person. This is the power of Guru. So we have to pray that we could be in the company of such personalities, be able to have their darshan, to serve them, touch their feet, prepare a meal, give them water, a place to relax. Our only goal now, our only supplication is to serve the Vaishnavas, and by their astiva, their mercy, their blessings, everything else will come. Mind will shut up. You were talking about your mind. All inauspicious things in your life you'll be going this way, and all of a sudden, and you'll get inspiration to go this way. You go this way, you're down Fifth Avenue, and all of a sudden, you hear a kirtan party. This happened to me, you know that. Going down Fifth Avenue, these guys are boogieing in the street. Like, what are they? They gave me a mantra card that says, come to our yoga class at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, that's kind of early, but I'm going to go. I went, and then I walked in and I said, what kind of yoga is this? These guys are bouncing off the ceiling. But we're always praying now for the auspicious moment where we can meet Vaishnavas, hear the holy name, hear Harikatha, and take prasadam, and have, lifelong friendships, loving friendships with the devotees. This is it. If we don't have loving affection, loving dealings with the devotees and their children, then like I said, you're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna be in a club. Some disco place or a horse track, betting on, a liquor store. You'll be anywhere but where the Vaishnavas will be. Because the mind is so degraded, in Kali Yuga especially. We have so many impressions that are not bhakti. And by loving dealings with the Vaishnavas, chanting the holy name with faith, following the Ekadashi, all these things, then gradually we'll be taken to a whole new level of existence, of happiness, of joy, of forgiveness, of healing. We were talking about healing. This is our healing now, what we're doing. All the things that happened to us before. Okay, I had a crazy childhood, this happened, that happened, someone stole my horse and all these things. But now I have the chance to be with the devotees and serve them, hear from them, have camaraderie with them. And this camaraderie will take us away from going back to the poison that we drank in the beginning of our lives.
May I share one thing?
Yes.
It's on similar notes. They're just two impressions I've had in this last weekend with Bhakti Vichara Vishnu that they just are sitting with me, and I feel like it's appropriate. One is about the mind, like you were saying, what about our mind? What will our mind take us, And at one point I was speaking to him actually about a goal I have in the preaching realm, and it's like kind of a big goal, and I was asking like, is that Maya? Is that service? Is that, what is that? And he spoke at length in a wonderful way, but at one point he said, what is your real goal? Like, Hari Priya, like, what do you actually want? And I said, well, I want to go home. I do want to go home to Krishna. And then he said, okay, so how much time you have? How much time you have? And it was just so, it was like just because of his own bhakti and his own realizations in that Sangha, my mind just, like all of the other ideas and goals I've had calculated and thought of and planned for preaching and for like 15 years, really. It's like a big, I'll say samskars or minds, impressions,
Right.
They were gone. Where he was like, so how much time do you actually have?
Yeah.
You want to go home, how much time do you actually have?
You don't know.
So what's your, so where are you spending your time?
Right.
And so it was like, oh,
But
okay,
it
Chris,
was on.
stay focused on my
Read number
goal.
11.
That was one thing that I wanted to share. And then the other thing that I think he said here actually on the Sunday class when he said we should, the austerity of speech. You know, I've always heard Srila Prabhupada translate it as we speak in a way that's pleasing to the ears.
Right.
And for me, that's actually quite a tall order. You think, oh, I can't always do that. Oh, pleasing to the ears. And especially if I'm upset or emotional, I'm like, oh, right, I'm going to be pleasing to their ears. No, I'm upset. But when he said, you speak in a, when he said the satyam, priyam, he said, priyam, you speak in a way that never breaks the love.
Right.
And for me, that, like, it again just blew open for me because I was like, oh, I can do that.
Right.
Even if I'm angry or I'm upset, I won't speak in a way that'll break the love. Like, I can just walk away then. Because I know if I speak now, it will break the love. So I wanted to share that.
That was my point, and I kept repeating from Radharasa Sudhanidhi, and I'm offering my obeisances to that very moment that he said that to you to help you. I'm offering my obeisances to that. That's what it means, this verse. Bhutakala
What number
Patikame.
verse? Did you say
73.
71? Oh, 73.
Yeah. I'm offering my obeisances to the time when I got the darshan of the Vaishnava, and then he gave me a loving lesson, loving instruction that has carried me this far. And now look where I am. And in the temple, there's devotees here, they offer prasadam to the Lord, going to take a feast in a little while. All these people are here, they're all wearing tilak just by me looking at them. All my past impressions are disappearing, you know, like sinful reactions. So, read that, number 11, translation.
There is a class of pure devotees.
There's a class of pure devotees
who is expert in following all the instructions of Sri Sachinandana. Such a devotee incessantly worships Srimati Radharani exclusively, who is indeed the most worshipable personality, and who is deeply absorbed every day in relishing the divine mellows of Sri Krishna's association. The pure devotee of this caliber definitely performs his confidential worship wholeheartedly and with exclusive surrender to Sri Radhika. Always living in Sri Vrajamandala, I shall take the nectarian water that has washed the lotus feet of such a devotee and carry it on my head. Drinking it with great joy and with a devout heart, I will then happily offer my full prostrations upon the ground in the nicest, most perfect way that I possibly can. This will indeed be my routine each and every day.
That's the song.
This is Sri Sloka written the very back.
Swat. Yeah, by Bhakti Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.